Duff or Robert Hitchen. Hugh Duff, of course, one of the best known figures in the game, the 1988 World Indoor Champion. Seeded 9 for this event. He manages the Cumbernauld Indoor Bowling Club near Glasgow, and they beat Margaret Johnston very convincingly in straight sets in the last round. And his opponent, Robert Hitchen from Halifax, plays crown green bowls in the summer and flat green indoors in the winter at the Huddersfield Club. He's unseeded, naturally, and of course he caused one of the upsets of the first round by beating Stephen Rees, the number 8 seed, by 2 sets to 1. So once again, it's the best of 3. We're going to join it at 2-all in the opening set, and in the commentary box for this one are David McGill and Jimmy Davidson.
Got a delivery action that's fairly typical of crown green as Robert Hitchen. They have to keep a foot on the small circular footer, and practically every crown green bowler convert into the flat keeps that rear foot on the mat. And however he does it well.
About 9 inches.
Jack on the tee, Alan. Is it Jack on the tee?
It's right on the tee, yeah.
And Hugh Duff's delivery action. See him stepping off the mat as he delivers.
One, still.
Good head of bowls building here. Now, will Hugh use weight at this early stage of the end? Just overweight and saves his bow. Could come into the reckoning later.
See the head on.
Huh? Yeah.
Hugh Duff, with permission, looking at the head, it's important to him to see precise angles that the bowls lie in relation to each other and to the jack. Putting his foot on that bowl is an indication that that's going to be the target for weight.
The problem for Hugh, of course, is that his own blue ball is so close to the target. If he just misses and removes it, Robert Hitchen will be holding 3 and several yards to draw a 4th. Really wants a little position before he does anything too drastic.
Certainly more of a draw weight than his previous bowl. Did he finish inside his own? No. He was every bit as far. He's now got 3 behind. Should Robert Hitchen cover those 3, do you think, David?
I think so, Jimmy. Something around this area back here would be very useful. He certainly doesn't want to broaden the target or block the line of the blue ball from the mat.
If you'd left the dot on the screen, the ball would have finished on it, David. Showing good flag green tactical knowledge. How's the weight of this ball from Hugh Duff? It is bending to his own, but it's turning it out slightly. 2 down, could it be 3?
2.
2 it is. And those 2 shots indicated by Alan Fox give Robert Hitchen a 4-2 lead in the first. Said earlier that Robert Hitchen, who has delivered another full-length jack, joined the Huddersfield Indoor Club in 1985 and has been very successful there. Lots of experienced flat green members, outdoor flat members. Won the singles title 4 times. And he's gone on to appear in national championships. Duff first to the jack this time. That bow finishing in position, it'll force Robert Hitchen to change his hand, go to the open side. Two blue, says the rings, and so does Alan Fox. I think you'll have to say 3 now. Not much wind up to his drive. He was close to the jack. Took one out. Left Hugh with two. And a good opportunity with the last bowl of the end to score a big three.
Take these out. Thank you.
Thereabouts. He's in. Three agreed by Robert Hitchen, and those three shots give Hugh Duff a 5-4 lead in the first. Robert, similar yard through to Hugh. Hugh Duff needing two more shots to win this first set. And that's second, so Hugh holding a single. How's the weight this time? He likes it. Trotting after it. And every reason to trot. His dad, Robert's father, looks pleased with that one, doesn't he? Reaching draw required from Hugh Duff. Not quite holding the line. And keep talking about the amount of good experience that on the flat green that Robert Hitchens had. And he got to the national final of the Champion of Champions one year, where he's beaten by Mervyn King. His experience should tell him that when his bow's touching the jack, he touches the bowl, it will spring some distance. Two very good shots from the Crown Green representative. Gives him a 6-5 lead in the first set, and in Crown Green terms is all but for the first set. Needed one shot. So both players close to taking the first set. Hugh needs 2, Robert needs a single.
How far short is my ball, please? The jack.
Do you want a jack high line, Robert?
Yes, please.
About 2.5 feet.
This needs to creep past his own bowl for a good shot. There's Hughes, it won't be bad. Robert probably still with the set win in line with the bowl past the jack. Certainly is with this one. Needing one. Got one to spare, holding 2. Just needs to reach. A little flick of his own will help. Got the shot with that last ball.
Close on.
So, 2 bowls left in the head, crucial. You holding 1, needing 2 for the set.
Very, very close.
Hitchen is trying to rest his own red ball. Slightly overplayed.
Heard Alan Fox say it's very, very close to Hugh Duff, and Hugh's having a good luck. The rings have told us that his holding shot needs another for the first set. Yes, it's clearly showing the bowl above the jack, the blue one of Hugh Duff's holding shot. And I guess he may, if he doesn't, if he's not certain that he holds shot, try to face the nearest bowl of Robert Hitchen on the forehand. That's what he's playing, is to beat that bowl. Bend in time.
Sliding line.
He was close.
Cut up a top.
So David Higgs called
Yes.
on to adjudicate. Vital measure.
Low job there.
The marker, Alan Fox, is a retired policeman, and I heard him whisper it's an hello, hello, hello job. I think by that he meant it's very close. David Higgs turns away the Duff blue bow. It's 6 each first set. Next to score takes the first. So this crucial stage of set, first bowl, all important, could determine the pattern for the whole end. That's a good one. Did face the Duff bowl. Fell away from the jack, and again it's close. Really vital. Predictably, Alan Fox says it's a measure. We favour blue slightly, looking at the rings. It looks good. That little shade extra of green does the job beautifully.
Yes.
Robert Hitchen asks for permission to visit the head. In his profile form he says he's a glass house hot maker. I certainly didn't know what that was and asked him. He told me he makes hot clay containers that hold the molten glass that glass blowers draw from. They're handmade and they weigh half a ton, would you believe? Learn something every day.
Not only shot, of course, but position all against Robert Hitchen here. If the shot blue ball moves the jack, it goes towards more blue balls. Needs to get something in there in the backhand. Turn the jack round the corner or shift that blue ball out of the head.
One ball each left to play at this 10th stage of the first set.
Well, he missed his target by some way, but he set Hugh Duff a problem because he now his position behind the head, just to the bottom right of the screen. Hugh might be well advised to leave well alone and cover that back bowl, just in case the jack's disturbed.
I agree, David, and so does Hugh Duff. And going nearer to the ditch than the goal you referred to. Single bill left for Robert Hitchen. Not only to save the set, but possibly to win it. All out drive. And missed the target by a foot or so. Has to concede that Hugh Duff's got the single that gives him the first set, 7 shots to 6.
Yes, couldn't have been closer, but Duff takes the early advantage. And just before we continue with the second set of this match, let's give you a chance once again to win some premium bonds in our International Open competition. Now, earlier this afternoon you may have seen Mark McMahon safely making his way into the last 8 of this year's event, but we're asking you a question about the 94 International Open. We want to know, in last year's final, by what score Mark McMahon beat Andy Thompson. Was it A, 3-0, B, 3-1, or C, 3-2? In last year's final, Mark McMahon beat Andy Thompson by what score? There's the number to dial if you know the answer. 0891 33 99 0891 33 99 The lines are open until midnight on Saturday, and for the winner there's £300 in premium bonds, and indeed £100 each for the 2 runners-up. Good luck with the competition. Meantime, we'll get back to that match between Duff and Hitchen and move on into the second set. It's been fairly scrappy, to be honest, but Hitchen has scored a couple of singles and leads by 2-0.
I get the impression, David, that the standard of play in this game has reduced as the game's gone on.
Yes, we haven't seen the clusters of bowls round the jack that we saw, for example, in the previous afternoon
Ball's
match.
supposed to lean in, but I favour blue.
Of course, one game does tend to suffer in comparison with another.
Respectability to this end by that Hitchen bowl. Nudges the jack, folding a couple. Good line from Hugh Duff. He's now collared the jack and made two. Standard of play certainly improving on this end. And Robert Hitchen, the open hand, shoot to reach. Certainly reach with that. Flies past the jack. Frightened it to death.
He's a big fellow, Robert Hitchen. He can fairly let them go. He was disappointed here. He was so fast that the ball didn't bend one iota. Missed the jack by a thickness of a cigarette paper.
Yeah, he was sure he got it, but Hugh Duff's got the last bowl of the end. Good opportunity to take three. Will he reach? Having a look.
2 shots.
And decides two only. Those 2 shots to Hugh Duff means it's 2 across in the second. Hugh Duff, Scots-born, represented Scotland, bowls and then moved down to Thornaby, Teesside. Management job there, the indoor club. Represented England for a little while, but now firmly back in Scotland. Managing the Cumbernauld Indoor Club.
Well, I'm actually on. How's my ball through?
1 yard through.
How far that ball past the jack, please?
9 inches.
Looking good. Although, hole in 2. Hugh waving that in with his arm, encouraging it to bend, but finished up with 3 bowls touching each other about a yard behind the jack. Robert, good scoring count so far in this end, 3 out of 3. Well, Hugh Duff has got 3 bowls waiting at the back, but pretty sure it'll be a straightforward draw. Has he made the weight adjustment? Looks better. Well bowled. Big save. So Hugh Duff now holding a single. Hitchen second, third and fourth, David.
You remarked a couple of ends ago, Jimmy, that the game was not progressing at all in terms of quality, and as soon as you did so, with 2 very good ends of bowls, with players beating each other's shots. Well, a chance for Robert Hitchen, if he could move that jack a foot or so, or turn the Duff ball out. Big count waits for him.
Seems to like it, running after it. Got the bowl, but it was locked in. Great effort.
Just confirm it before you put it out.
Really good effort.
Okay.
But it's a single to Hugh Duff. He leads 3-2. Second set.
Robert Hitchen was looking for that jack. It could have been worth 4 shots to him. A marvellous effort, but nothing at all.
Hugh Duff. Big change in mat length, takes it way up the green this time. Needing 4 for set and match. On this fast carpet, quite delicate touch needed for this length of jack. Robert made the better first adjustment. He would have made a cracking second
Just
adjustment.
slightly in front of the jack, or is it level with the jack? Sorry.
Last ball delivered,
Last ball, yeah.
about 4.5 inches short of a jack high line.
bowl isn't moving the shot bowl. The bad news is that it's also gone into the ditch. If it stayed on, it would have been in a pretty good receiving position. Can't quite understand why Robert's keeping to that hand. The shot bow short of jack high. I'd have thought he should have played the other. Especially with the two Duff bowls in the position that they are behind the jack. That bowl's put Robert Hitchen in an even more difficult position. He's got the last bowl at the end.
Under any normal circumstances, I think Robert Hitchen would be tempted to have a real go at these two blue bowls. But it's risky at this stage of the game.
He's taking the chance. And by gun, fortune favours the brave. Couldn't have forecast those two bowls going without moving the jack, but they do. And leave Robert Hitchen with two shots. He takes a 4-3 lead in the second set. And this is the way he got the two. Another full-out drive. Two shots against him. And they both went. And the jack didn't move. And that was crucial. This time, I'm delivering the jack. It moved all the way to the ditch. Almost automatic reaction from the opponent. Deliver a shorter jack. At a couple of yards up the green from the minimum. Robert, another opportunity to get to the jack first in the end. He needs 3 for the set. Level the match. Useful.
The last ball shot.
Yes.
So a little turn of the jack round the corner from Robert Hitchen. Got 2 bowlers waiting. Needs 3 for the set. Little straighten. And he's holding the 3 he needs for the set now. A kind contact with the nearest Duff bow.
See the head on.
Hugh Duff quite wisely going to have a look. Set lie against him. Not an easy head for Hugh Duff.
Certainly not an easy head for getting shots, Jimmy, but Hugh's first priority here must be to remove some of the red ones that are lying there. Not with this, so tight from the moment it left his hand.
Yes, I felt he was in 2 minds still when he was delivering that bow, whether to really use weight, play the controlled weight, and held between the 2 stools, so to speak. So Robert Hitchen holding the 3 he needs for the set. He may decide that he'll put in 1 to spare. Since Hugh used some weight with his previous bowl, decides he'll have cover at the back. This time, Hugh probably use a bit more weight. Lot more weight. Took out none of the 3 red bowls holding shots for Robert Hitchen. They're the 3 that give him the second set. 7 shots to 3. It's 1 set all.
Yes, Robert Hitchen in impressive form, and once again we're into a third and deciding set. We're going to pick it up with Hitchen very much in control. He's leading by 4 shots to 0.
Robert Hitchen now within scoring distance in one end of victory. He's 3 for set and match. Good first bow in the circumstances, in particular for Hugh Duff. Robert Hitchen leading for love. His tactics should be to make certain he doesn't give a count away. Keep on drawing close as you can. Looks to have a fair bit of weight on this one. Duff holding two. Two very good ones. Made the target no bigger, and that's important against a successful driver like Robert Hitchen. Having a go. Not this time. I suggested earlier I needed to adopt tactics of avoiding counts, but great opportunity for Hugh Duff to get a big three. Over a yard to draw within. Not much doubt about that. So, gets a big three. At an important stage of the match, Hugh Duff now trails 3-4 in the final set. Almost a reflex action against the long ends of Robert Hitchen to set much shorter jack. You're building a good head here. Robert needing a contact. You're needing 4 for set and match. Roll 3 holding through.
Yes, Robert, better be careful. This could yet be one of the most dramatic finales to a match in this championship.
Weight it is. Jack goes all the way back into the ditch. It's still live. It's within the rink. And they'll need a clothesline if it finishes up as a measure. You did bowl one toucher. And Alan Fox inspected the other bowls to see if they're chalked before he goes to the bowl in the ditch. Having established the facts as a good ex-police officer, marks the position of the toucher in the ditch.
Yes, that's the nearest Hitchen bowl, but in fact it's out of play. So Hugh Duff may in fact actually be holding 3 shots. They're miles from the jack, of course, but well, stranger things have happened.
Yes, there was a red bowl just outside the boundary of the rink. And Robert's dad, Sydney, looking a bit worried now. It looks like Hugh Duff's holding 3 shots. With 1 bowl each left to play, and Robert should be relieved that he's got the last bowl, because you'd surely expect both of them to draw nearer to the jack than the 3 bowls counting at present. Hugh staying on the green. Establishes a good shot, and our long distance eyes are in focus, it's a game lie. But Robert should resist the temptation of trying to beat that bowl. Be content to get a second.
Yeah, you saved the game, yeah.
Which is what he does. You concede a single. It's now 4 across in the final set after a very eventful end.
It certainly was, and Hugh Duff, having pulled back from 4-0 down to 4-all, then went on to score another couple of shots and has now scored 6 in a row and leads 6-4, needing just 1 more shot for victory.
So, room for Robert to get in first. Looks to be a reasonable weight. Follows the jack. Hugh Duff. See more of the jack on the backhand. Plays there. Can he touch the jack? Robert Hitchen. He can make the Hugh Duff bowl behind the jack his drawing target. Close to it.
Ooh,
hard luck, he glanced it. He needed a solider contact.
See the head on.
Sorry.
What a bonus it would have been for Robert Hitchen had he rested that blue ball. Pressure would have switched immediately onto Hugh Duff.
Well, he's had a fair bit of driving against him. Weighted shots in this match, Hugh Duff. He went to the back of the rink and looked at the head from that position. He's got the furthest back bow. Dare he put weight on and go for the jack, do you think, David?
No, too risky, I think, Jimmy, at this stage. The draw, Hugh Duff's a world-class bowler. He should be able to draw shots like this.
Will he hold that line? Well, not really in the drawing path of Robert Hitchen. Still play inside that. Foul back, but he's got good position. Hitchen holding the single. Duff second. Hitchen third and fourth. That could be ominous for Hugh unless he does something with his bow.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the advantage of these circles, of course. Tell him who's lying second shot. He's got to make up his own mind.
Quite properly taking his time to decide. Not easy, David.
No, the ball is finished on the backhand he was favouring. If he's going to play a draw, I think he's going to have to go on the 4.
Shaping for the forehand, as you say. Drawing weight. Looking for that channel. Well, he's got another in the head now. I don't know whether it's close enough. It's a single still to Robert Hitchen. But, I would think Robert will finally decide to try and draw another.
Yes, but if he can draw it onto the blue ball just to the left behind the jack and stop on it, it's the 3 he needs, Jim, and it's just about achievable.
Well, he was very, very close to the previous ball. Touched the ball. Wider line this time. Doesn't affect the issue. Duff concedes a single. Says you can't have any more. Robert marches up to have a look.
Now the ball's out of the way. 1.
1 it is. Agreed. It's now Hitchen 5, Duff 6. Final set. Robert Hitchen on that end stopped the scoring run of Hugh Duff. Run 4 ends on the trot. Robert now needs 2 for the match. A bit of brinkmanship there. Much better length from Hugh Duff, who only needs the single, of course. It's a great first ball.
Well, this isn't too shabby either, Jimmy. Just ran out of steam, but a useful second.
Good line on. Bad Robert short.
Robert's ball short of the jack.
Yeah.
It's the only drawback I can see
About 16 inches.
from the Hitchen point of view is that if it brings out the artillery, makes it slightly more difficult. And Hugh Duff leading 1, holding 2. For such an accurate driver as Robert Hitchen, he may have learned the old saying, flat green, if you've got to open it, do it with the 3rd ball.
Aye, I don't think he has much choice, Jim. He's really got to open it up. And the way he's been driving, and he's been accurate, but he's been very fortunate on occasions if he can ride his luck. He could take out the 2 blue balls and put the jack in the ditch.
He's got a ball sitting in on the edge of the ditch. Took his own ball. Got a slightly clearer view of the jack now. In fact, from the mat, it will be a much clearer view than he had before.
Now Robert Hitchen has only 1 bullet left to fire, but Hugh Duff's still got to anticipate what he may do. Looks like a back ball, very wise, keeping well away from that head.
Get as close as he can to the Hitchen ball sitting on the brink, and he's very close to it. And it's 3rd shot. So even if Hitchen were to hit out the 1st and 2nd, Duff's got a 3rd. So bring out the big guns. For this to stay in the championship. We touched the jack in, but even at that speed, it only moved a fraction of an inch. Hugh Duff retains the shot, takes the set 7-5, the match by 2 sets to 1. He meets Mark McMahon in the quarter-final, his fellow Scotsman.
Yes, another long and engrossing match, but the number 9 seed goes through 2-1 and will now meet, as Jimmy Davison said, Mark McMahon in the quarter-final, and Hugh Duff is with me now. And Hugh, of course, you wouldn't be surprised by how well Robert Hitchen played today.
No, I've come across Robert before as when I played down in Yorkshire. Robert's a member of Huddersfield indoors, and I played against him in the area final of the pairs, and he led very well against us, and he actually beat us on that occasion.
So you knew you were going to have a tough match, and
Well,
you weren't disappointed.
No, I know Robert's ability, and he can fire. He's very accurate, he's driving, and as I say, he never missed many tries today.
And of course, you tend to prefer to play a drawing game, don't you? So you've really got to just keep plugging away when he's driving well, haven't you? Yeah,
in situations like that, you've just got to try and get first or second ball pretty close, and a few occasions I wasn't putting my first ball too close, and I felt that Robert wasn't taking an opportunity to put us under some pressure. And when I went 4-0 down in the final set, I thought, well, it's just got to dig in, and hopefully that your luck will change, you know, and which it did.
It's always tough over 3 sets, Hugh, isn't it? Because really anything can happen, I suppose.
Well, I feel that you've got to particularly win that first set. If you don't win that first set, you know, you're under pressure, and you know that you tend to start to chase shots, and look for shots, but I'm quite relieved to get through. You're through, and that's the main thing. Well done, Hugh. And that brings us to the end of our afternoon session here at the Guildhall. Back tonight at 11:15 here on BBC Two for tonight's 2 remaining second round matches in the top half. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.